Hey, what's going on, everyone? Happy God of War month. It is your boy Blackamura and the GOAT Hassan on my left. Today, we're going to celebrate 20 years, 2 whole decades of God of War, my favorite gaming franchise. 20 years of God of War, 18 years of God of War 2, 15 years of God of War 3. We're going to get into our favorite moments from Greek Kratos, Norse Kratos. We're going to talk about the rumors of the Greek Saga Remake and who would win in an all-out death battle where we analyze Kratos' weapons, armor, and skill to find out whether Norse Kratos can defeat Greek Kratos. Now, sometimes, I like to say, Streamcast, we've been bringing people together since 2018. You could argue that we've been bringing people together since 2010. Stay tuned for the greatest gaming franchise that has birthed the
Streamcast.
How dare you? You get smoother with that every time, and I'm sick of you. Goddamn professional.
I realized I said the name of the thing before, but it was like, nope, we're live, pal. We gotta get... I had it, and yeah. Anyway, Big Hass, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, broski. I'm chilling. I'm in my old man bag, as I was telling you earlier on. I'm just, I'm like 2 steps away from a Zimmer frame, innit? It is getting egregious out here. I'm like, I'm glad. The good side is, I feel like I can fit my get off my lawn, you pesky kids energy. I feel like I physically can fit that now. But like the other side is like, now I have to live in this rickety body, innit?
The price we have to pay for existing.
You hate to see it. How you keeping, my bro? How's your weekend been?
Yeah, been good. This weekend was the first one all year that I fully just rested. No gym, no streamcast, no nothing. I felt
No,
kind of...
no, we're not going to gloss over that. We're not going to gloss over that. You really just tried to like slide that in there, huh? I see you.
Look, part of my thing this year is just seeing how much crazy stuff I could get away with, like PlayStation Playboy.
I love and respect you. I just want you to know that.
I love and respect you too, broski. Now, I have done a little poll in the chat because I've seen bigger channels do it and it works. Have you liked the video yet? Yes, or doing it now. It's very clever and it's worked. I have seen it work. So make sure you like the video, whether you're watching live or on demand. Join us real time in the chat or leave a comment on the replay of this video because these pods will stay up forever on YouTube. And about 24 hours from now, these will be available wherever you get your podcasts. That includes Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Castbox, and many more platforms. Now, Hali, it's been a while. What have you been playing? What have you been reading? What have you been listening to? And what have you been watching?
I just realized it has been like about a month since I've been on an app. It's been a minute. I was like, yeah, I was there last week. No, I wasn't. No, I wasn't. Yeah, we got a lot to catch up on my end. Games wise, I've been playing a bunch of stuff. Been putting like a lot of time into Nights in Tight Spaces, which is the sequel to Fights in Tight Spaces. Shout out Grand, shout out Studios, shout out Connie, our good mate who works here as well. It's amazing. It's so fucking good. It's like a deck building roguelike tactical kind of like combat game. It's great. It's like everything about it is like very kind of like geared towards me, like the silly builds, like kind of the story kind of in between is very funny. Like the writing is really good. Yeah, it's really absorbing. I've also been playing a ton of the new this new FPS called Fragpunk, which is like sitting somewhere between Apex Legends and Valorant. It's like right in this sweet spot between the two of them, but it's also got this like card based like roguelike thing going on that like each round you get to like vote on cards that either buff your team or debuff the other team, and they get very silly. It's so much fun. I've not really been reading much. Just kind of I'm mostly just like the same kind of manhwas and kind of like manga and that kind of stuff, just keeping up to date on that kind of stuff. I've been
Manhwa
listening.
culture out here.
Dude, listen, the Korean stuff is good. It's really good. I've been reading manhwa for years, and I feel like it doesn't get the same amount of like love and kind of like pop culture conversations that like manga does. Like you have like 1,000,001 like manga kind of podcasts and like YouTube channels and that kind of stuff, but I don't really see the same for like manhwa, and I think it's a crying shame because there's some bangers, like some absolute bangers, like some really good like subversive like kind of trend like classic stuff. Like you get to see it now because things like Solo Leveling, God of High School, and those kind of ones like broke into like anime. So like people kind of like went through that way, but I'm like I feel like a lot more people would find like absolute bangers and absolute gems if they kind of gave manhwa a try. What have I been listening to? I've been my musical ear is kind of all over the place always. Anyway, I kind of went like I finally listened to Getz' last album, Forbidden Frequencies.
Okay,
so good. It's so good. That is illegal how good that man is. Like his schemes and his punchlines are crazy, like crazy. He had Dave on a song called Magneto and Iron Man.
Oh,
holy shit, bro. Insane. I'm like, firstly, having like Dave, who's like just unreal like talent, and like a legend like Getz on the same track, you know you're gonna be in for some treats. But like, I don't think I've ever seen Dave get spun like that. Getz is a different breed. Getz is a different breed. It's crazy. Like, and Dave's verse, it's amazing. Like that's the thing that like really tripped me up. Dave came in on the first verse, and it is like
beat that.
He came in firing on all cylinders, like the double entendres and like the lines are amazing. And then like Getz is just like, all right, yeah, banger. Yeah, that's with me. I've also been like listening to like Krangbin. I haven't heard like any of their stuff in ages. So I kind of like fell down a rabbit hole with them. They're like this Texas kind of like funk band. They do like a lot of like really laid back kind of like chill kind of groovy stuff. They're great. If you want like some good like chill stuff to kind of like vibe to, Krangbin is amazing.
Nice. Dope. And for me, I have been doubling down on like a couple of topics, and got a bit of an obsessive personality, so been catching up on the wrestling on Netflix. It is really good right now. It is. So, all right. So to my wrestling nerds, yeah, Royal Rumble was okay, but I didn't feel like we were kicking off the road to WrestleMania. Now, Elimination Chamber, oh my god, with everything going on, heel John Cena, Jade coming out and almost destroying Naomi. I have been so much happier because the content has been so much better. Cody Rhodes just dropping an F-bomb live on the mic. I've been so happy.
You had me at Jade, so like, did I watch any wrestling? No. But
Ali, she's the gateway. She is the forbidden door.
Like, look, I would like. I'm not young man anymore. Like I can't be getting myself into trouble.
You got kids out there? What are you doing?
I can't be like I'm gonna throw everything on the line because like I've got the huts for this one person. Like I'm not getting into wrestling just because I really fancy Jade. I'm not gonna do that.
Hey, you're missing out because my goodness, it is. Yeah, like when she came back, I was like, oh my god. Whoa. In fairness,
you lot have made my timeline all wrestling, so I don't miss anything anyway.
It's true. You can enjoy it on social media. Oh my, yeah. You know what? Fair. Their content is so good that you can just enjoy it on Twitter. It's so dumb. Bianca and Naomi have had an amazing back and forth, which actually sounded like two black women having a conversation, as opposed to a bunch of 80-year-old white men trying to write dialogue with black women, which is what we had when old Vinnie Mac was running the thing.
Oh, are you telling me that we don't talk like 1960s jazz, man? Is that what you're telling me?
Bro. I'm telling you now. I'm telling you now, Hallie. They had Roman Reigns. He had Roman Reigns say "Suffering Succotash" live on TV.
Firstly, that is a white person thing. Firstly, that's a white person thing. It's never been ours. We don't want suffering succotash. I'm not a fucking Looney Tunes. Like, what we doing? Like, that's crazy.
Apparently there's this mythical yellow marker. If your dialogue is, highlighted in yellow, that means the big man himself wants you to say it verbatim. So yeah, you have to say it.
Okay, I'm gonna put this on the other side of it, right? Because like I understand that like racial sensitivity isn't exactly what we go to the WWE for, right? That's not what I'm saying. That's never what I'm gonna say. I'm being very light and jokey about it because I feel like that this deserves gravitas in the whole conversation. But that's to say, I'm enough of a gremlin that if I had this much power, I would yellow marker make people say some crazy shit. Like it would. Okay, before anyone says some shit, it would never be anything racist. It'd just be something so stupid and so very funny to me, very specifically.
Well, I feel like you and Vince have that in common.
Yeah, but I haven't had a do-rag era and been white.
I'm never getting out of my do-rag ever.
I was gonna say, yeah, say something.
What up, Holmes? So that links into the listening because my workout playlist is somewhat rap, somewhat rock, somewhat anime music, and somewhat wrestling music because it is whatever it is that gets me pumped. Sometimes I need to, channel some energy. So I've been listening to a lot of wrestling themes, good ones, so nothing recent. But I've been
wow. Just some light shade in it. Just let me just cook them a bit. Like
is it truly Blackamura if there's not a bit of light shade? Anyway,
that's what I'm here for, isn't it?
I've recently picked up God of War 2 on my personal YouTube channel, which I'm gonna drop a link in the chat right now. And on Throwback Thursday and Flashback Friday this week, I will be picking up God of War 2 on a legit PS2. It is dark, but it is still fun and it's hard, so it's on brand.
I have a suggestion. I have a channel suggestion. You go back and you do like old Just Dance games and call it Throw It Back Thursdays.
Okay, that's a great idea. But I feel like we have a really great mutual creator who already does Just Dance. I don't want to step on any toes.
No. It's a throwback thing, isn't it? And we can even like get them on because I feel like that would be a very funny thing to get like a bunch of our people who like dance as well to come do a Throw It Back Thursday. That would be hilarious. That would be so fun.
The trademark is already pending. My lawyers are on it. Sup, G?
Yeah, we need to like shout play on, like, hey, play on. Have you got some old Just Dance games that we can do the whole thing with?
They got play on. They've been so nice to us over the 6-7 years that we've been going. And while we're here, I'm gonna drop some more links to our Twitch and to our a second YouTube channel, which is 1 subscriber away from 69. Nice.
Nice.
We'll be streaming all week apart from Friday this week. So after this stream is ended, please hit up either the Twitch or the YouTube link. 9 p.m. GMT, I'm going to kick off God of War 3 Remastered, and Hali will be streaming Tuesday through to Thursday. What's on tap, bro?
I'm going to be streaming a game that I've had on my radar for ages, and it just dropped on Game Pass. It's called Mullet Magic, which is like a retro anime inspired like boomer shooter, kind of like arena shooter. It looks great, and from everyone who I know who's played it, and like all the kind of reviews that I do check regularly, and the kind of people whose opinions I respect, everyone loves it. So I'm very excited to get into that one. Wednesday we're going to be playing some more Warden's Will. If you've been on this channel this year at all, you know I'm obsessed with that game. That game it came out of left field and is an absolute banger. They just dropped like a huge new like patch with like a bunch of like new content, so like new bosses, new enemies. all that kind of good stuff. So I'm going to go in, see kind of what's new, see how badly I can break it. So that's what we're going to do Wednesday. Icy's going to join us as well. So it's going to be if you enjoy me and Icy's like energy, you're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be great. And on Thursday's community night, we're going to be playing some Reaper with the good people in our community. I love that game. I played that game a bunch on Zoob's channel. I played it with a couple other communities. We played it with Jack as well. It is genuinely one of the funniest games I've played in a minute. It is such a good like co-op experience because everyone immediately becomes such a little gremlin about everything. It's so good. Hey Jenga, what's going on? Welcome in.
Jenga. First of all, you dummy, I got the game courtesy of our very good friends Bandai Namco. I didn't waste a pound. I didn't waste a penny on that game.
Also, if you enjoyed it, it's not a waste. So
exactly, I enjoyed that game. Blackamura 2024 Game of the Year trademark. I stand by that. But you know what else I stand with? I stand with the fact that I feel like we have been able to authentically communicate our love about gaming for over 6 years now, whether that's through these podcasts, whether it's through live streams, whether it's through our in-person get-togethers. And that is something that you can look forward to coming soon because Streamcast Club is going to be a real thing very, very soon. I'll put a link into our Patreon, which is going to be the main ordering hub as to joining the club. And I think once you get a feel for once you reveal some more information as to what the club is going to be all about, you'll be running to join. And we have so many cool members of the community: Pastor Salt, Galdem Glucose, CM Gamer. We've got absolute legends of the gaming scene up here in Britain. And if you are on this island as well, I feel like we're one of those shining lights, one of those rare sun-shining rays in the 2 weeks of summer that you get every year here. So make sure you stay tuned. There's a free tier as well, so you don't have to pay to subscribe to the Patreon, and you'll be updated as to like all the information as well. So hopefully we'll get some really cool get-togethers going real soon, real regularly. That means I'm the best player in the world, Jenga. What do you think this is, bro? I'm the best.
That is the kind of optimism and spin that I expect from a lying politician. No. That is exactly how you should see it. If you're the last person playing, technically you're the best. You're the last man standing. You know, Mama didn't raise no quitter.
That's right.
Except for Jump Force.
I never got on that train.
I made that mistake. I learned a lesson that day.
There is absolutely a pod in the future where we talk about gaming regrets.
Oh my god, yes. Oh my god, we should absolutely do that. I genuinely think we should do that.
All right. It's in here. Animal Crossing. Yeah, look. I'll reveal more information in due course, but basically it will be kind of like a play your own adventure. I'll put it that way. Incorrect. I've already beaten the game on hard. All right.
Get wrecked.
You think I play on easy?
Jenga, this is the man that chooses extra hard whenever it's a possibility. You know this man is going to choose like the most ridiculous settings just to make himself suffer. And I, as his friend, I really want him to change because I feel his blood pressure rising.
Don't worry, it's actually a relaxer from my day job. Don't worry about it.
Jenga, I'm everyone's friend. I just got my main allegiance is chaos. So like I'm gonna support everyone so long as it causes more shenanigans.
And talking about the chaotically aligned, let's talk about the man of the hour, the big dog, the red stripe of hell, Kratos.
Oh.
So it's a very special month. It's the month of war. If you are Romanly inclined, Mars is your guy. And if you're a Greek inclined, of course, Ares is your enemy of choice. So, of course, this month marks 20 years of God of War, but it also marks 18 years of God of War 2 and 15 years of God of War 3. That game actually birthed the Streamcast, no lie. So, Hali, talk to me about your memories playing God of War, if you've played any of them at all.
So I didn't have a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 3, so I missed God of War until the remakes. And I think so. I had a funny journey. I played the God of War 2016, and that game was mesmerizing. Like that was such a beautiful and like really amazing experience. Like the story, the voice act. Christopher Judge, like you gotta understand. I'm a Stargate fan. So like hearing brother turn up, I was like, I haven't seen this man in years. Yes, the nostalgia hit me in waves, right? And then to have like such a breath of fresh air, like male kind of like masculine figure who's also kind of having to grapple with the fact that like that masculinity is toxic and actually poisoning the relationship and kind of like the development of his own child and kind of the introspective journey he's having as a parent. Amazing, right? And then I went back and I played God of War 3. And I was like, I am not 14 and going through puberty. This is not for me. I think if I played the original trilogy as a kid, I would have fucked with it. But like I played it was 3 and then I played a little bit of 1. Right. And when I started playing 1, there's the scene with the bed, and I was like, no, I'm done. Like, I'm actually done. Like, what am I doing? What am I doing? I'm a grown man. Like,
yeah. I will say that was quite awkward when I played God of War 2 and the scene is like in the first 10 minutes. I mean, when in Rome, but yeah, I wasn't happy about it. Hey, shout out Cypher 2K99.
Hey, welcome in. Also, you're absolutely right. It very much felt like it was playing on people's like brand recognition and kind of brand loyalty to all of these different IPs. It didn't feel like a cohesive kind of game that was made to kind of be enjoyed. It was made to like pull money out of people's pockets. It really felt disingenuous, and like that was upsetting. That was really upsetting because like I had the double whammy of Jump Force and Fallout 76. So like,
oh wow,
it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
That's crazy. And I agree with Cypher here. But yes, let's talk about. I'll talk about my experience playing the Greek games. So weirdly, my first game was God of War 3, and I was a 17-year-old, I think. Yes. And that was the perfect outlet that I needed. So, you know, it was just big action figures being thrown against each other, big Poseidon, big Hades, but all these superpowers. I loved it. And I met someone who also loved the game. His name was Isaac. And in my head, I was like, anyone who likes this game can't be a bad person. You know, there are exceptions to the rule, but I love Isaac anyway.
I'm gonna hold on. There's certain situations where I feel like, yeah, you could say that. God of War is absolutely not the case.
No. I'm a good judge of character. Isaac's a good dude.
Okay, Isaac is great. I love Isaac. Isaac's a good dude. I'm just saying, God of War fans don't get that blanket for me. It is the most toxic masculinity as a game.
Yes. So Isaac and I bonded over God of War 3, and then we found other things that we had in common, and then we became really great friends. We still are to this day. And if you go back to watch or listen to the older Streamcast episodes, that is his voice you can hear, that is his face you can see. And God of War 3.
Don't listen to him. It's actually me. It was just me. I dubbed over. Like I had a body double at the time.
Okay. Right, you're a double agent. Hey, okay, cool.
Rumble.
As I was saying, I love God of War 3 so much that I was like, hold on, if this is the third game, where's 1 and 2? I wasn't old enough to have God of War 1 and 2 on the PS2. So when they came out with Collection, I believe, or was it Sagas? One of the two like compilation games. I just hopped on it and I really enjoyed those games. God of War was acceptable, but God of War 2, oh my god, that's one of the best games I've ever played. Cory Barlog directed that game as well, and there's no coincidence that he directed 2 and 2018, the two best games in terms of a narrative experience in the God of War franchise. I respect Corey's just ability to tell stories. He's such a genius. And with the great guys like Williams and Stig Asmussen directing other God of War games in the franchise, they were able to capture the violence of God of War, but I feel like the story element was still something that wasn't fully connected. And that is something that I will always remember. I'm not looking forward to playing God of War 1 again, because when they remake that game, I'm going to get into that in a minute, I am going to play it just because, like, I'm going to have to, but I'm not looking forward to replaying that. I am looking forward to replaying God of War 2. I think it's got such a rich story with an amazing array of bosses, including Zeus, including the Barbarian King, Theseus, Perseus. I feel like 2 is the one where they really went back into the ancient lore and went, okay, who can we pull out? Okay, Minotaur. Who can we pull out? Okay, Medusa. Everyone of legend, and they just go, okay, let's have Kratos kill him. And
he went on like a short journey around the Pantheon. It was a Minotaur.
You're lucky that was good. You're lucky that was good. Anyway, as I was saying, one of my favorite memories from God of War 2 is literally Kratos squaring up to Theseus, I believe, the one who conquered the Minotaur. And Theseus is a big dude. Kratos is apparently 8 feet tall. Okay. But Theseus towers over this man. And the fact that Kratos is just squaring up, looking dead in his eyes, and just like no fear, that was like one of the coolest things to me. And then that compared to, obviously, he goes on in God of War 3 to kill his grandfather, Kronos. That is a mad thing, because he is literally the size of an ant in comparison to Kronos. So watching his feats of strength throughout the 7 Greek games has been truly inspiring to see. One thing that I guess regret, or a missing piece of my puzzle, is I never had a PSP. I had the DS. My brother had the PSP. I feel like we both won. But
yeah, you guys covered all bases.
Yeah. But that means I never got to play Ghosts of Sparta and Chains of Olympus. And I really hope that they do add those games to the Greek collection if they ever do remaster those games, because I felt like those added more lore to the entire life of Kratos. And when you play 2, you realize he's not just a horny killer. There's quite a lot of backstory to him. He has, a wife and a child. And there's this scene where he sees his wife and he just breaks down. And it is so good how TC Carson, and you shouted out Christopher Judge, who is amazing, who is a legend, who cussed out COD.
I love that man. What? Oh, Christopher Judge is the best.
TC Carson is just as good an actor as Judge, because the range he has in that scene alone just showed me that he got it. He understood what Kratos was as a person. And I can't wait for the game to be remade. I get the feeling that they're going to, because what they're doing in terms of promotion, there's like 20-year vinyl collections going out, there's new merch, they're doing there's 20 fact series on social media. I feel like they are heading towards an announcement that the remakes of the Greek saga are going to come out. As someone who never completed the Greek trilogy, is this something that interests you, as someone who completed the Norse games and would like to learn more about Kratos?
Yeah, 100%. Like I feel like even when I bounce off stuff, especially kind of like legacy stories, I'm always interested to kind of like get into. Like I always kind of want to see like how seminal games have kind of shaped the industry and kind of like shaped their specific niches within the industry, like came to be, and kind of like from the bottom to the top kind of thing. It's kind of why I go back. It's hilarious, is why I read Lovecraft, because like I was very interested in like cosmic horror as a genre, and I hate Lovecraft, and I will never not hate Lovecraft. That guy can go to hell, right? But it's important to kind of understand like the genesis of the things that we kind of take for granted and kind of like use as like story writing shorthand now, like kind of where those things came from and kind of like why they came to be. I think that's super cool and super important. So yeah, I'll go back and do the Greek saga if they're remade. That said, there was like a couple of chats I did want to. I didn't miss Cypher. Don't worry, I'm keeping an eye. There was one you were talking about how like he killed the Greek pantheon, and that made him a bad guy, right? Him having to change out. So like, I kind of want to talk on this because like one of the things with the Greek pantheon and kind of like the Greek pantheon specifically have never been good. They have always been bad and always been selfish. They're like very occasionally they go out of their way to do a good thing, but it isn't really ever like from a altruistic point either way. Because like even when they do good or kind of help people, it's because it helps them. So I'm like, them getting squad wiped is a net good. Like genuinely a net good for humanity. So
and
like
I love that. I love that unique take because I've not seen the Greek gods showcased as so unforgivingly, irredeemably
monstrous.
evil.
Yeah.
And then them all getting their comeuppance.
Yeah, because like, if you read like the like stuff like the Iliad and like kind of like the stories about like Zeus and Hera and all like the Greek gods and stuff, you're like, they're horrifying. And I think it was really interesting that they went from the Greek to the Norse gods because I think they both those pantheons have something very strikingly similar in a way that most pantheons don't. Is like both the gods in both those pantheons operate and have motivations that are very human, like very, very human. And they have very like selfish and kind of like irrational and like very like reactionary actions to like all the things they're doing and saying and like acting upon. And like their schemes are very human and kind of like very materialistic and like greedy. I think it's such a beautiful thing that they went from one pantheon to another that had like such a mirror that could be held against both of them. It's very cool. Very cool.
And I would agree with all of that, first of all. And I think that's why the decision to go with the Norse gods as opposed to the Egyptian gods, which was heavily rumored at the time, was something that aged really well. It's a less harsh transition, and I believe that they're going with Egypt next. They have to at this point. That's what the hot ticket is saying. But I agree with that because of a lot of the similarities and the way a lot of the gods are painted as evil and selfish, like you said. They're almost humanized in a way, and there are a lot of similarities. I'm pretty sure the Greek one is older, but there's a lot of similarities even in the realms and the afterlife and how that's treated. So I get that 100%. So people in the chat and Hali, let me know what your favorite Greek Kratos moment is, and B, do you have a favorite Greek Kratos boss? That could be a kill, that could be a fight, that could be dialogue exchange. Let me know.
Because I have so very little Greek Kratos knowledge, I can only really pick the three-headed snake.
Okay. The Hydra.
yeah. Right. Because like you turn up, you're like Hydra, and then goodbye Hydra quite immediately.
You should do stand-up.
I just feel like, okay, if I did stand-up, I would need to have done it in like the 1940s. Like, is anything on? Play me out, Johnny.
Hold on. There is a very inspirational movie out there that you can watch, Joker. That is quite literally what you're describing. And I feel you make a great Joker.
Okay. Not to be that guy, but we do live in a society and there are problems, and I do have jokes.
Cypher2K99 says Hercules, which is up there for many reasons. One, you get the Nemean Cestus, which is one of the coolest weapons in all of God of War. The exchange between Kratos and Hercules is great. The fact that they got '90s Hercules. I think Kevin Sorbo. They had him voice Hercules, even though bit ashamed to be a fan of him. But getting him from the OG series into the God of War lore was very cool.
This is a side tangent, right? But what is it about men and male actors that once they hit about 45, they lose their mind and they say anything to kind of stay relevant? And it's like, did you really want this to be the last thing people remember about your legacy? Yeah. It's crazy. It's crazy work.
Just stop that. Why do men?
I mean, honestly, I feel like I always do recurring bits, and I always bring us back to the fact that it's always patriarchy and misogyny, right? I always do this, and we always go full circle, right? However, I'm like, maybe I just have to just stop it at like, why do men?
Laugh track.
Yeah.
Cypher also shouts out Kratos versus Hades, which is another big one for me, because I feel like there are multiple times where I'd start God of War 3 on a Saturday, and then on a Sunday I'd be in Hades, and instead of going to church, I would fight Hades and kill him. Doing my bit for the community.
I feel like that is a very specific kind of sacrilege. That's very funny.
Which is a very cool fight, and I like the irony of you being the one that takes Hades' soul. Where like obviously his whole thing is he takes the souls of his enemies or the people that go to Hades. So and you're gonna see a lot of that in my playthrough on Mondays, right here not right here, but on our Twitch channel, on our second YouTube channel. If I had to answer my own question, the favorite moment is tough. I would probably go with Kratos quite literally ripping the wings off of Icarus. So they have an exchange, and Icarus is giving it the big one, and then they fight, and then Icarus realizes, oh no, this guy's strong. Like he's as strong as he looks. Kratos is about to rip his wings off, and Icarus starts to beg for his life. And for some reason, I find that really funny, because he just goes ahead and rips the wings off anyway. And then in God of War 3, you meet Icarus' dad, who's like, what happened to my boy?
Yeah.
Where's my son? There's a lot of the consequences of my actions are coming back to bite me. I don't like this.
How could I have ever seen this? It's like, let me wax eloquent about what I didn't do.
Favorite boss enemy, I'd probably go with Kronos in God of War 3, just because of the size. I think my favorite.
Andy likes him big. Hey man, you opened the crazy statement door bright and early today.
Hey, look. It's yes and all right.
Sometimes it's no but.
No but. Poseidon is a very close second because of the voice effect and the effect of water. You're gonna see that at 9 p.m. tonight. So very cool. And apparently that was the hardest thing they ever did in the franchise. I can understand that. But now that we've spoken about the whole Greek era of Kratos, let's get into an era that you're more familiar with, Hali. Let's hear your favorite Norse Kratos moments.
So I have a few. There's how supportive are we gonna get? Because I don't want to spoil Ragnarok, because Ragnarok is still fairly fresh, right?
Ragnarok is almost it's 2.5 years old, so you can spoil it.
But like it's not the 2016 one, which is almost 9 years. That's crazy.
Look,
that's crazy.
I know there's not a written down, there's not an agreed rule, but when it comes to movies, it's a week. When it comes to games, a year.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
After a year, you can't complain about spoilers. Yeah,
you're not allowed to talk to me about movies because you don't watch movies.
Yeah, I do if they're Marvel.
I'm leaving the chat.
I've watched 30 movies. 29 of them are Marvel.
I'm waiting for you to be like, I'm gonna show you like Citizen Kane or something. You're gonna be like, man, that reminds me of Winter Soldier, and I'm gonna actually fight you in real life.
No, I can see the similarities.
Oh my god, I'm tired, bro. I'm tired.
There was one film that you were like, so it was Ben-Hur. Like we were just
Yeah,
chatting. And I was like, yeah,
okay.
Ben-Hur. Ben-Hur. Like that's the 30th film. What are you talking about?
Okay, no, but like you gotta understand what I was confused, right? Imagine someone comes up to you and they're like, the only show I've watched is Friends and also Severance or something like that. Like it's like,
ooh, I need to watch.
Do you know what I
Severance,
mean? Bro, Severance is so good. I just wanted to talk about Severance. We can't. We don't have time. We don't have time. We'll talk about Severance another time.
A podcast network, a Man United channel, a TV channel.
Yeah.
Right, but
yeah. But yeah, so like it just really spun me because I was like, this is so far from like what I'd expected of you to have like hunted down and kind of watched of your own volition. It feels like a movie that I'd have to have like grappled with you to like make you watch. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, like back to God of War. My favorite part of the like one of my I've got loads of like favorite like things like boss fights, the Baldur fight, the Fafnir fight, like and the even though I hate how hard they are, the Valkyries are amazing boss encounters, like genuinely works of art boss encounters. They're frustrating. I didn't do them all. I did a few of them, and I was like, I've had my fun. But yeah, I think what truly stands out to me though is even with how good the gameplay is, and even how good like the combat and kind of like the weapons feel, it's the more emotional moments that really kind of resonate with me the most. I my guilty pleasure is seeing the growth of toxic characters. Like uber masculine, uber like ridiculous, kind of like over the top people being like introspective and kind of like learning to kind of grapple with like their material reality and kind of how they've come to be doesn't have to define the next generation of kind of like how they go forward is such a viscerally important message that a lot of people need to hear. So I'm like, I really like to kind of see it when it's kind of shown through the light of heroes and like really like big examples of kind of like what the masculinity can be. I'm like, it's just really refreshing, right? So like, you know, the moment with like the hunt, like with him and Atreus, and like the first time he takes him out and he's seething because he just doesn't understand how to communicate, and kind of like seeing the growth and kind of like by the end of the hunt and like his pride in Atreus, and like the moment where Atreus has got the knife to the deer and he goes to like pat him on the back, I was like, oh, damn it.
When I saw that, sorry to interrupt, but when I saw that, I was like, this game's game of the year.
Yeah, for real. It was such a like, it was like, oh man, I could see the journey we're on. I'm very excited to see how we get there. And kind of like the duality and kind of like seeing Kratos kind of like come face to face with his own like ego and arrogance and kind of masculinity and kind of like the toxicity of his actions through his like reaction to learning that he's a god is so interesting. And seeing kind of him having to grapple with the fact that like, oh, this is what I look like. It's very, very interesting.
Honestly, hot take alert. God of War 2018 is the greatest game of all time. Argue with your grandmother.
I'm leaving.
Argue with Mandela. Look,
it's a good game. It's not the greatest game.
Hot take alert. My hot take. My hot take.
Okay. Do you know, fair.
I didn't say it was gospel. I said it's my hot take.
No, do you know, you're right. You're right.
That game ticks so many boxes for me, and where God of War has clearly, the Greek God of War games have clearly taken inspiration from Devil May Cry. The Norse God of War games have clearly taken inspiration from the Dark Souls games. And that's not why those games are great, and that's not why 2018 is the greatest game, in my opinion. What makes 2018 the greatest game, in my opinion, is exactly what you said. It has seamlessly combined the story elements of what make TV shows, books, films so immersive, and what drags someone reading or playing or watching or listening along with the characters, not just the main character, but the characters, the cast in their growth over the arc of the game. That has been perfectly mirrored in the gameplay. In how, in the beginning of 2018, Kratos and Atreus have no chemistry at all. Like, when you fire the arrow for Atreus to shoot, it will be like a 1-2 second delay, and because of that, you suck a bit of the game. And that's something that in turn is referenced in the dialogue. Kratos is barking at his son, but at the same time, we know, well, the ones who play the Greek games, we know what Kratos was, and fighting with someone else was never something he would do anyway, so he doesn't get it. But then, you know, caring for his son, and he always cared for the other kid as well, but he stabbed her in it. But with this one, he tried to not do that. So trying to be a
cut that out.
Well, he cut her out twice. And seeing how their stories like grow, from Kratos being the villain in like the neutral person's point of view, and Atreus being the one that you sympathize with, to the point where Atreus gets sick, and then, like you said, he finds out he's a god, and then his immediate reaction is, "Can I turn into animals?" There's a clue as to who he is, and then he starts being cocky, he starts being this little shit, and then Atreus is the villain from the neutral point of view, and you sympathize with Kratos because now it's like, oh, he's going through puberty, oh, he's a dickhead, he thinks he knows everything, and then seeing how they come back together and fight other enemies, even though they've got internal problems with each other, very cool. I think it's very much the way that humans should be written in games, even their deities, whatever. But it's how characters should be written in games, and I don't think we've got a lot of that.
Can I say, right, with Ragnarok, I can't overstate how much like Saiva made a very good point, like the interactions with Odin, like Odin, holy shit, the casting for Odin in Ragnarok is some of the best casting in gaming. I tend to like much prefer traditional voice actors in kind of voice actor roles, but this was a seminal piece. This was amazing, right? Like every time Odin was on the screen, like he just oozed so much charisma and like just genuinely stole the show. And just like he had your focus constantly, because you're like, I know you're running a grift somehow. I might not know immediately what you're doing, but I need to know.
Yes.
Amazing, like pure cinema. There was a moment in Ragnarok which genuinely made me laugh out loud. That like I know you had the same reaction, like when Atreus tries to punch through the box.
Yes. Love that.
I was creasing, and I was like, everyone in my house must think I'm like a crazy person because it's like 3 a.m. and I'm just cackling like a maniac, right? So good.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were going to continue there.
No, I can. I just wanted. I thought you had like something there too. The other one, Freya, like the relationship between like Freya and Atreus and Kratos is like one of my favorite parts of the games, especially kind of with like the consequences of Baldur. It's so rich and so well written, and kind of like there's a lot of media where revenge is really like you know what I mean, and like people kind of like refuse to kind of like understand anything about the situations or the kind of like the how we got to the fallout and that kind of stuff, and like the way Freya kind of responds to the death of Baldur is really interesting, and kind of like especially with her kind of having to like grapple with the fact that Baldur wasn't a good dude either, and she has so much responsibility to shaping him and his pain and his suffering. Amazing. amazing. Like that whole kind of arc is so good.
Really quickly, favorite Norse Kratos moment and favorite Norse Kratos boss.
Ooh. I really like Heimdall was fantastic. Thor was a fight and a half. That was such a good fight. Yeah, it's really difficult because like I haven't played both of them in quite some time, but like I'm gonna say like the Odin fight as well was bang.
Yeah,
I think Odin fight for Ragnarok and the Fafnir fight just because you're like flying around like doing all that like with no it's the boulder fight that you're like you're in the air and like on the dragon and on the ground. That fight is cinema because it's a one take as well. That's the craziest part of those games. The fact that it's a one take is insane. Like it's insane. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 fight. 10 out of 10 fight.
We've got some great shots from Cypher as well. Thor versus Kratos was another cinema. Valkyrie Queen Sigrun was a great fight. The first battle where you encounter a dragon was sick for the scale of it. I see the cinema of Atreus and Kratos versus Odin. For me, my favorite Norse Kratos moment is when Kratos goes to flip the Temple of Tyr. So first of all, Kratos, Atreus, and Mimir, they figure out, oh, the temple's upside down. It needs to be flipped. And Atreus and Mimir are like, oh, how are we going to do that? And Kratos is just like, stand back. So he squats, getting ready to flip this temple. And then I think Atreus goes, are you going to hurt your back? I laughed at that, the way you laughed at it,
That's such a good moment. Because it's because we have the hindsight to kind of like the foreknowledge of being like, y'all don't even know. You don't even know. Like
you're missing so much context. And I think he was pushing the wheel of something like it had to do with Tyr's temple. Yeah, I think
I shed a tear when it happened
to the track. And then and he's pushing the wheel onto the track, and Atreus asks, oh, did you hurt your back? And I think Kratos angry at the question, but also knowing, oh, he doesn't know. He just go, no, like obviously didn't hurt my back. One of my favorite moments. My favorite boss fight is Sigrun because she was an absolute bitch to fight. She is the Cynthia of God of War. If you've played Pokemon Gen 4, you know what I mean. And Sigrun feels like the final exam, and I've had this discussion in an earlier episode. I think it's like episode 12. Go check that out, where we compared God of War 2018 and Red Dead Redemption 2. And Sigrun combines all of the elements of the other Valkyries that you've had to fight on your way to get to Sigrid. So she's the best of the best. And it's like you've already had practice runs of how to fight Sigrun. You just need to put it all together. Beautifully done. By far, the Norse games are so much better. It's light years ahead of the Greek games.
Yeah, I'd agree. Even just again, like I don't have the history with them, and I can't sit here and be like, those games that were formative for you, how dare you have enjoyed them? That's crazy, right? Just for me, like the depth of the writing, the depth of like the scale, and like just the way it was all put together. Those aren't just good God of War games. They're amazing games. You know what I mean? It's one of those ones. It's there's certain games where they have like such a lineage. It becomes very difficult to recommend them to people outside of the niche or outside of like the fandom. You can easily recommend God of War to anyone if they play games, if they play like action games, adventure games, that kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. And as we head into the last 5-ish minutes, we'll do a death battle. We're gonna pit Greek Kratos against Norse Kratos, based on all the information that we've shared and anything else that we'd like to add. Hali, who do you think would win in a fight to the death? Greek Kratos or Norse Kratos? And why?
Okay, this is gonna sound like a cop out, right? I think Norse Kratos is gonna beat him because he's not just Greek Kratos, he's Greek Kratos New Game Plus. Do you know what I mean? Like he's got everything that the old Kratos had, but more. He's got the Leviathan axe, he's got Mir's knowledge, he's got like everything he's taken from Tyrion, like the journey and everything he's learnt since, and like the the magic from Freya, and like all the kind of like all the stuff that he's accumulated along the way, and all the lessons that he's like learned has made him a bigger, a stronger, a better person. Do you know what I mean? So I think, yeah, for me, it's like, would you fight like the young kid, a lot of fire in his belly, or like a veteran? Like is what I'm thinking.
I hear that. I do. Obviously, old man strength is a real phenomenon. If you don't know, try one. You will know very quickly.
The Streamcast does not recommend you fuck around and find out. You legally can't say that you should do that.
No. I mean, like, at your own discretion, results may vary, innit? Like, don't be dumb. Like, relax. But I agree with the wisdom. Obviously, Norse Kratos is years smarter than Greek Kratos. Not to say that Greek Kratos is a slouch. He's a very capable guy as well. He led an army at a very young age, youngest captain of the Spartan army. Yeah, I think the strength and the wisdom do tip favors into Norse Kratos' favor. For the sake of this pod, I will argue that Greek Kratos would be my shout, because he is younger. He would be faster, and he does have a double jump. So in an actual fight, he would have the vertical advantage over.
Yeah, they're fighting. They're not playing basketball, broski.
Yeah, but
how many times in a fight do you see a man do a double jump?
In real life, I'm talking about real life. What are you talking about?
My man has the drapness there.
We're not talking about real life.
He's gonna throw this the moment he jumps in the air, right? The moment he does the double jump, he's gonna get a spear in the back. Like it's done, isn't it?
He'll do Poseidon's magic, and then the spear will go away.
The spear comes back. The spear
Kratos has the better selection of weapons. He's got the Nemean Cestus. He's got the Hades Claw that can take the souls of his enemies, and he can use them to attack. I think that Blade of Olympus. Blade of Olympus, let's not forget that. That is a very sick blade, very heavy. I don't know how that would compare to the axe. I don't want to think about it too much. But I think it's closer than a lot of people give it. I think it's closer than a lot of people give it credit for.
We can't put them up against each other like litigiously and then just be like, I'm gonna disregard the information.
No, I didn't say disregard it. I said I don't want to think about a sword going against an axe. Like the sword will win.
Yeah, but we should, if that's the conversation we're having.
Okay, this one will win then.
The axe would.
This one will win. The axe has the Mjolnir properties, but I think the blade would win.
It wouldn't even be Mjolnir.
I mean, all this to say, Corey Barlog has gone on record to say Norse Kratos would win. But this is about fantasy, and this is about throwing two action figures against each other. This is like, oh god, what is it like? This is like The Rock versus Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 18.
This is like the Jet Li movie, the one where Jet Li fights Jet Li.
Yeah, this is like Goku versus Goku Black. Or when Goku and Trunks were both like the only Super Saiyans that we knew at the time, and they started fighting. Oh yeah, let's go. Give me that. But I put a poll in the chat. Let us know who you think would win in a fight: Greek Kratos with all that hunger, that youth, and that rage, or Norse Kratos who's calm and wise and strong.
Can I while we wait for the results, take us on a quick history lesson? Because I think it's very important that we understand why Sparta is such a big thing, kind of like in references in history, and kind of like why it's such a zeitgeist thing, right? So do you know how I said we're gonna go full circle on the patriarchy and the misogyny and the racism thing? Sparta is a big thing because of racism. It's racist propaganda. So Sparta, even for the Greeks and the ancient Greeks, had a thing for slavery. So much so that there was like people from all over the world who came to destroy Sparta. Like the Persians were a liberating force, and they had like armies from Ethiopia literally cross Africa to come join them to help. Sparta aren't the good guys. They've never been the good guys. They were only kind of like lauded in that way and kind of like brought to the public kind of like forefront and kind of like idea because they were white and they liked slavery. That's it.
That's surprised. Yeah. Just your
surprised to literally know it, isn't it?
Yeah, isn't it?
Yeah.
Light-skinned people being racist. Well, shock.
Well, you know, yeah, it's one of those things, but I find it really funny, like, and really kind of interesting because we see stuff like it pops up in like movies and everyone's like, oh, the Spartans, they 300 Spartans, the Hut Gates is like they were the crazy slavers, the bad guys.
All right, we'll end the poll now. Oh my goodness. Split decision, 50-50. The people could not decide. So what I will say is, you guys who are in the live chat right now, why don't you leave a comment once this live stream is over? Say your shout and why. And anyone else who comes in, joining this pod, let us know your shout and why in the comment section. I'd love to tally those up and just read everyone's thought process. But that is going to do it for this fortnight's episode. Thank you so much for joining me, Hali. Thank you, Cypher and Jenga, as always, joining the pod. Is there anything you want to shout out, Hali? I know you're doing some streams this week, Tuesday through to Thursday. Do you want to quickly just run through the day in the game that you're doing?
Yeah, of course. So tomorrow we're going to be doing some Mullet Magic, which is a retro anime inspired boomer shooter. I'm hype. I love me some boomer shooters. I love me some retro anime. So it's like I'm locked. Wednesday we're going to be running some Warden's Will with our good pal Icy. There's like a bunch of new like content like dropped, so like new bosses, new monsters, new power-ups and that kind of stuff. Like we're going to do some build crafting. It's going to be chaos. Thursday's community night. We're going to be doing some repo. Jenga, I know you're going to be there. You best be there, Jenga. It's going to be so funny. And yeah, that's the week for me. You got God of War tonight, don't you?
Yes, that's right. From 9 p.m., give or take 10-15 minutes. On the Twitch and YouTube links in the chat right now, I will be kicking off God of War 3, where basically Kratos has revived all of the Titans who lost in the Great War, and he's launching against Zeus and the gods. So make sure you tune in for the end of the Greek saga, and on Thursday and Friday from 9 p.m. I will be streaming God of War 2 on a legit PS2 on my personal channel in the chat, in the link in the chat right there. And one more time, I will say the Streamcast Club is coming soon. Make sure you check out that Patreon link right there in the chat. There'll be more information coming out in due course, and there is a free tier for everyone to join in, and it makes sense in due course. Don't worry about it. All right. With all that said, it is good night from Hali and myself, Blackamura, bringing people together since 2018. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. Stay safe. We'll see you on the next Streamcast.